Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, a suspect in custody for a Bellot Road murder today. We'll tell you what police say happened. The National Security Minister sending a stern warning to criminals. Plus, one young woman's battle against cancer with no health insurance. Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, a domestic dispute on Shabak Close turned deadly when police say a woman was murdered and her daughter was seriously injured. Neighbors say the incident played out like a horror movie. Police now have a suspect in custody. Bethany McDermott has the details.
A woman is dead and her daughter is in hospital following a domestic dispute at a home off Bellot Road shortly before 10 a.m. Friday. The shocking incident in the quiet neighborhood of Shabak Close played out like a horror film, according to a neighbor who says she rendered medical assistance to the younger victim whose throat had allegedly been sliced from ear to ear. Police press liaison officer ASP Yardley Peters said the older woman was found lying in a pool of blood in the bathroom of a home.
Emergency medical services were summoned, and on their arrival, after an examination, they pronounced the body lifeless. Investigations also revealed that there was a second individual, a female, in this incident who received injuries. She was transported to the hospital where her condition is not known at this time.
Now, following that brutal incident, one resident say one of the victims crawled at her doorstep seeking assistance. It's an incident she says still has her shaken up. It was the second woman who crawled to the home that Alexandria Norsila shares with her boyfriend and two children.
She came to the front porch, pouring blood, so I tried my best to assist her. We told her to be quiet, not to say anything, but I guess she came home, but I was very happy she came, and we helped her out, and she was talking so much. We told her to be quiet because her throat was sliced from ear to ear. So that was really shocking and very scary.
Peters said early indications suggest that the older woman was stabbed with a sharp object multiple times. However, he said police are awaiting autopsy results to determine the exact cause of death. Norsilis, who says she was sitting near her front window Friday morning, didn't hear any commotion. She only realized something was wrong when she saw the bleeding woman approaching the home.
He was like, help, help, and I told my boyfriend, like, someone outside bleeding to death. So he just came out, saw her bleeding, rushed and just grabbed her shirt and just try to put pressure on the wound.
But the mother of two says the traumatizing ordeal didn't end there. She says her boyfriend soon became the target of the perpetrator.
As he was trying to put pressure, I looked on the other side of the window. I see him rushing with one black jacket, pouring blood. His face was full of blood, and it just was scary. And I told him, watch out, he coming. And I guess he pulled out the knife and tried to attack him as well.
He tried to attack who?
My boyfriend.
The incident has left Norsila shaken and contemplating whether she should move. Meantime, Peter says police have a suspect in custody and called on Bahamians to find non-violent ways to deal with disputes. Reporting for Our News, I'm Bethany McDermott.
Meanwhile, prayers pouring in for Environment Minister Romuald Ferreira and his family after his teenage son was found dead in the family's home Thursday afternoon. According to police, officers were called to the scene of a suspected suicide at a home on Oxford Road off Nassau East Boulevard. While there, they were directed to a room where the body of a juvenile was found unresponsive. An autopsy will be performed to determine the teenager's exact cause of death. Our news understands that the boy is 14-year-old Satario Ferreira, a 9th grade student at Queen's College. The school held a prayer service on Zoom today as officials offered grief counseling. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis said in a statement, "As a parent, I cannot imagine the unspeakable pain that Minister Ferreira and his family are going through. I ask the nation to join me in praying for the Ferreira's family healing, strength, and peace during this very painful time and as we approach the Christmas season. Let us also pray for the soul of the deceased." Opposition leader Philip Davis released a statement last night offering condolences to the Ferreira family and offering prayers that they find strength, solace, and comfort during this unsettling tragedy. And a dramatic gunfight between the occupants of two vehicles led to a police chase and a suspect being shot by officers last night. Police Press Liaison Officer ASP Audley Peters says the incident began on Carmichael Road West near Gladstone Road. He says officers of the COVID-19 unit observed the occupants of two vehicles exchanging gunfire while one went at officers, resulting in a chase.
The vehicle evaded the enforcement officers. However, while in the St. Vincent Road area, another vehicle observed a vehicle matching the description that was given by police control, and a chase ensued of that, a black Honda Fit. While the chase was ensued, the occupant of the Honda Fit discharged a firearm at the patrolling unit that was pursuing that vehicle.
According to Peters, the chase continued onto Blue Hill Road, then onto Soldier Road, where the driver crashed into a pole. Peters says no officers were injured, but a police patrol car was hit by a bullet.
While the suspect was attempting to exit the vehicle, he brandished a firearm, and officers, being in fear for their lives, discharged their weapon at the suspect, hitting him. EMS was called in. The suspect was transported to the hospital, where he's listed in stable condition at this time.
Following last night's police-involved shooting, the National Security Minister is warning criminals that if they choose to engage police officers, they will lose. Giorgio Bain reports.
Following a high-speed chase throughout the streets of New Providence where assailants shot at police officers, Minister of National Security Marvin Dames sending a stern warning to assailants not to engage police because you will lose. Videos of a black Honda Fit speeding through the streets of New Providence, shooting at police officers with a high-powered machine gun went viral on social media. Minister of National Security Marvin Dames says last night's exchange is an example of the risk police officers take on a daily basis because there are citizens who think that they are above the law. He warned those who choose to engage police that they will lose.
It's never a good feeling when someone is shot, no matter who that person is. It's never a good feeling, but when you pull a weapon and you decide now that you're going to take on law enforcement, who by law has the authority to defend themselves and to defend the people of this great nation, then you're doing that at great risk.
James also addressed concerns over the country's latest homicides. 2 separate incidents happened in less than 24 hours. He says the time has come for residents to respect each other and to learn better conflict resolution skills.
It's always sad when someone is shot or someone loses a life or someone is held up at gunpoint. It's always a sad thing, but I am extremely confident that the commissioner and his team, the Commodore and his team, and law enforcement throughout this country are doing a very good job, and the statistics will bear that out.
Dames also sent this warning to those hell-bent on breaking the law.
You're not going to win by using a gun. At the end of the day, at some point it will catch up with you.
Reporting for R News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
In other news, a Jamaican man today facing 5 drug-related charges in a magistrate's court. Dion Crooks in the blue shirt was charged with 1 count each of conspiracy to possess dangerous drugs, possession of dangerous drugs, conspiracy to import dangerous drugs, and importation of dangerous drugs. It is alleged that sometime between November 20th and December 2nd, 2020, Crooks conspired to import and possess 5 kilos of cocaine. Crooks pleaded not guilty to all charges and was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Corrections until January 19th. Well, police say a cremation went wrong at a Grand Bahama funeral home Thursday, causing $250,000 worth of damage. Rescue Memorial Mortuary and Crematorium equipment manager Reginald Dean says the fire broke out as a cremation was being performed.
This afternoon mess-up is a result of the stack overheating from being in motion of a cremation, and we were able to contain it to that portion of the building. There is no damages to any other portion of that building.
Police say the incident took place at 5 p.m. on Coral Road. Officers on that island say the building received extensive fire, heat, and water damage. Dean says it's the first time they've had an incident like this, but it isn't necessarily uncommon.
It's not happened before, but we have these sort of incidents that may take place simply because of gas fumes may still be going through. And when we started to see some black smoke, we shut the system down.
It got a little chilly last night. Greg Thompson is in the weather studio with the latest. Greg?
Thanks, Christina. I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson with your first look at weather. Outside our studios, we have mostly cloudy skies as a mid-level disturbance in the Gulf of Mexico pumping a lot of moisture across us. Temperatures in the low 70s, 71 degrees is our current temperature. The winds are out of the southeast at 6 knots. Feels like temperature around 71 degrees Fahrenheit. Satellite view around the area, as I mentioned, a lot of clouds, a lot of moisture moving out of the Gulf of Mexico, spreading across our area. We could see some isolated showers tonight through tomorrow. This disturbance will continue to keep clouds around our area. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come on our news, a young woman battles cancer with no health insurance. But first, a call for police to get tough on COVID rule breakers. That's coming up when our news returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Senators debated a compendium of bills that Attorney General Carl Bethel says will shore up the country's financial services sector.
We have a series of bills, essentially the intent of which is to reduce the complexities of entering contracts, signing documents, and particularly so far as involves corporate entities, but also individuals, and to also clarify and strengthen the laws governing the abolition of perpetuities as they affect existing trusts.
The bills include the Companies Amendment Bill 2020, the Foundations Amendment Bill 2019, and the Rules Against Perpetuities Abolition Amendment Bill 2020. The bills were passed in the House of Assembly Wednesday afternoon. According to the AG, the amendments provide more flexibility on how deeds and similar instruments can be executed by a company without the requirement of a seal. They also give foreign companies the ability to execute deeds governed by the laws of the Bahamas and enable them to facilitate virtual signings and closings for transactions.
These are bills that have been generated by our own financial services sector. They have been asking for these reforms for at least a decade. These bills have been sitting around and just have simply been unaddressed by a series of governments, including one in which I would have played a role, and another in which some members opposite would have played a role.
The bills were passed unanimously in the Senate today. Well, businessman and former politician Leslie Miller says the government needs to get tough on establishments that break COVID-19 protocols. Miller says if there is any hope of getting everyone to adhere to the rules, they must see there are consequences. Jasmine Brown reports.
You got to send a tough signal. Listen, we're not going to put up with your foolishness. When you have parties with people congregating 50 and more, when no mask, because that's a lot of them believe in this garbage in the United States with the trumpeters but now people are dying.
Former Progressive Liberal Party member of Parliament for Tall Pines, Leslie Miller, expressed his disgust over the fact that some restaurants, bars, and lounges across the country continue to host large gatherings. One of the most talked about incidents occurred 2 weeks ago at a local club in the Palmdale area. Police reported that on November 17th, they were alerted to a social gathering at the establishment on Madeira Street shortly after 6 p.m. Police said the proprietor and manager of Charms were cited for hosting a social gathering and failing to practice social distancing. Miller says he firmly believes those who break the rules deserve more than a slap on the wrist.
I think the government has been tough enough. Like that nightclub on the other night in Palmdale. Their license should be suspended. You're out of here.
Miller, whose own business Mario's Bowling Palace has been shut down for months, says he and others have followed the rules. He added it is simply not fair that others cannot do the same. He insisted it is not just businesses that need to be punished, as he also said patrons who choose to party are also to blame. He called on government to shut down any establishment found in breach of the COVID-19 protocols.
Those who trample on the laws like they did over the last couple of weeks in those nightclubs should be brought to justice in a harsh manner. Just to send a signal, listen, you are harming other Bahamian lives and you have no authority. You didn't bring life into this world. You have no right to try to take it out. That's my personal view. I think all those guys should be shut down permanently.
Reporting for our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
A look at the markets is next in the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Market Minute.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions, the experts for all your business needs. This has been your Financial Market Minute. Cable Bahamas Business Solutions, giving you trusted solutions that work for you and your business. Contact us today.
When our news comes back from the break, a young woman's plea for help as she battles colon cancer. We have the details when our news returns.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
This is our news. Welcome back. A woman battling colon cancer is sharing her story and appealing for help in her continued journey for survival. Here's our Jillian Gray.
That song has become a mantra for 30-year-old Andrea Darville, who was diagnosed with colon cancer just 3 months ago. While planning to apply for a scholarship to grad school, she got a call that shifted her entire life.
It was shocking and it was heartbreaking, and I didn't have the time initially in the moment when I got the news to process everything, because my mom was also not well. I was on my way to the hospital with her because she had an asthma attack, and I got the call while I was driving her in the car.
It was when Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman died of colon cancer that she got a prompt from her sister to get tested, as she was experiencing symptoms similar to that in an article they read online about the star. Darville will begin 6 months of chemotherapy on the 15th of this month, and said her focus now is to get through those 12 rounds successfully.
What's next is beating that. Honestly, beating that before I can even think about anything else as it relates to work or school. I had hope and planned to go to grad school, but we'll see once I'm fit and once I overcome this. Anything is possible.
She's had 2 operations thus far, and with no health insurance, it has been hard for her to pay for the treatment. While her family has helped with the bill, she will need to raise support for her chemo treatment.
I stopped working in October of this year, because I had to go through my process. But they have been financially supporting me. My friends as well has been helping me. Every little dollar counts.
Family and friends have become her driving force, and she said her diagnosis has made her appreciate life more.
You have to mentally accept what has happened to you and embrace life. It's not the end of the world. My diagnosis didn't mean, oh my gosh, I'm going to die.
Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
Thanks, Jillian. In sports tonight, the University of the Bahamas keeping its track and field program alive. Marcellus Hall has the inside track.
Thanks so much, Christina. Welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Hope you guys enjoyed our latest edition of The Locker Room. We'll have a great episode coming up for you again next Friday. Let's get you rolling. How about some track and field as University of the Bahamas keeping its program going as far as track and field is concerned. Let's take a look and see exactly what they have going on. UB Track and Field team hosting its annual time trials this week as the team hopes to return to competition in 2021. The team's still strong despite the pandemic. The annual time trial helps head coach Edna Roll set a standard for the runners for the upcoming year. Runners hit UB's track in the 20, in the 200, the 250, the 300, the 350, and the 1,200 meter distances. Many of the student athletes see the trials as a competition, and for some walk-ons, it gives them a chance to shine in hopes of making the team. Coach Roll says he's satisfied with where the squad is at this point in the season and excited that the team knows where they need to go for the rest of the year to succeed.
It's not necessarily how you start or whatever. You want to have a good start, but it's what you do now to improve on where you're at now. So this time trial is just simply to tell them where they're at right now. And what I see right now is we're in a good place right now. Yeah, we had a great time performance by Ramika Josie in the 300 meters. That was expected. She's really been consistent in the training, really pushing hard, hitting the weight room. The most improved, I think, today was Sierra Sayers, coming from a not so well season last year to now really hitting it hard this time around. We had some great performance in the 350. Kendrick coming on top with the men. Also in the sprint event, the new freshman, she came in, she got the fastest time today. So it's a good start, like I say, so, we'll see what happens from here on now.
Shifting some football where the NFL rolls into another week. Week 13 starts this Sunday with a number of games. Let's take a look at what's ahead. And that's your check on sports for you here on this Friday. Hope you guys have a safe and productive weekend. See you right back here on Monday. Until then, I'm Marcellus Hall for our sports. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Marcellus. The weekend weather outlook is straight ahead, plus how you can help grant one magical Christmas wish. Stay with us.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. Topping news tonight.
COVID-19 remains a serious threat.
Coronavirus COVID-19 has disrupted our economy, tourism industry, educational system, and put our healthcare facilities and professionals on high alert. Are you prepared? Do you have all the facts? Stay tuned to this network for the very latest news and information on this global pandemic.
Ready for the weekend, but how's the weather shaping up? Here's Greg back in the weather studio.
Thanks again, Christina. In our second look at weather, we take a look at satellite view around the area. Disturbance in the mid-levels moving across the Gulf of Mexico, bringing a lot of moisture across the Bahamas. That disturbance will bring us a possibility for some isolated showers. We will continue to see that cloudy trend as another front boundary is expected here by Saturday, and an even stronger cold front expected on Monday. Your boating forecast for the northwest and central Bahamas tonight to tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the east to southeast, 10 to 15 knots. Seas running 2 to 4 feet over the ocean while in the southeast Bahamas. We have a caution flag posted for you guys down there. Northeast to east winds, 15 to 20 knots. Seas running 4 to 6 feet over the ocean. High tide will be at 10:31 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. Now we'll look at your extended forecast through Wednesday. That's a look at our weather. Make it a safe weekend, everybody.
Well, the founder of a community organization has the ultimate Christmas wish this year. She spread happiness and Christmas cheer to those who simply cannot afford to do it on their own. We Life Foundation founder Siobhan Strawn says everyone has had to adapt and scale down events this year, but she's still hoping to bring smiles to the faces of inner city youth this Christmas.
The vision is to have like a flatbed truck with Santa Claus on it. And we just go house to house in an inner city community, deliver gifts and a grocery bag that can make a Christmas meal for the family.
We Life, or We Live in Freedom Everlasting, was founded in 2016 with the mission to help inner city residents, single-parent families in particular. Although the pandemic has been tough on many, Strawn says there are still those who feel the need to give back.
Support has been pretty good and people are still in the giving spirit. While there are some that aren't doing too well, there are still folks who are doing well, who are still working. And I think they feel that sense of gratefulness that those who are working and can support, they want to.
Thank you for joining us for our news tonight. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night for our news weekend. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.